Good morning, my friends. Welcome to the 10-minute book talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes every week. I'm Marie Bostwick. I'm here with my co-host, and that would be Katherine Reay, waving, and Rachel Linden. And you are in for a treat, my friends, and we're in for a treat because, so let me be clear, we love all of our authors, but we do have little crushes on certain of our authors. And one of them is here today. And we are so excited to have Jeffrey Blount here to talk about his new book, Mr. Jimmy from Mr. Jimmy from Around the Way. I read an early copy of this book. It's a delight. Jeffrey, welcome to the 10-minute book talk. So good to have you again.
Oh, Marie, Rachel, Katherine, thank you for having me back. It's good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your amazing new book.
Well, Mr. Jimmy is a billionaire, an African-American billionaire who is, unlike many billionaires, he's actually quite loved because of his philanthropic nature. He's very kind and he does a lot to help his community. And he has a long-term marriage and quite a love affair that many people are envious of. He suffers an incredible fall from grace, and he fractures at love, his family. He loses his respect, and he runs away to find a place to hide while he can figure out how to find redemption. And he ends up next to a community that is mired in abject poverty in rural Mississippi, not something he had planned. He doesn't want to have anything to do with them because he's so busy trying to figure out how he can find redemption for what he's done. But he gets drawn into the community. He begins to make friendships. And then there is a monumental discovery that throws everyone into a bad situation. And the community is trying to figure out how to live past it. And he is trying to help them. So it's about Mr. Jimmy finding his redemption, but also helping this community find itself and save itself. And maybe redemption is in helping other people. Maybe redemption doesn't happen where you made the mistake, but happens somewhere else.
Good.
Love this. Absolutely love it. I want to ask, what inspired this story? There's so much in here. There's got to be just a great inspiration behind it.
Well, the inspiration actually was from a conversation that I had with my father during COVID. And my mom was suffering from dementia, and she was in a facility. He was home by himself. We would have these really long conversations and reflective conversations. And he told me this story about why he and my mother had suggested that I be the reading helper when I was in second grade for a 13-year-old boy who had never been to school before, but they put him in second grade to learn. All of a sudden, someone had gone to his parents and said, your son needs to learn to read. He needs basic math. So I became reading helper. I didn't know until much later that my parents had suggested to the teacher that I become reading helper, because they said it was the beginning of me learning to be in service of your fellow human being. And they were trying to teach me what I now call the activism of kindness. And when I had that conversation with my father, I thought, if I had one book left in me, this is the legacy I would like to leave: the activism of kindness and the service to your fellow human being.
I love that.
Oh my goodness.
Always good stuff. I never feel like when Jeffrey's here, I just feel like we could just let him talk, and we don't
just
really
let him talk and just listen, sort of nod along and go, yes, yeah, these are the true and real things about life. I know. I felt that with his last book.
Yeah. So, but because we have to have a purpose here, the three of us. Yes. So I do want to ask. So I read this book. There's so many great themes in it, but obviously something that's strong and that's really attractive to me and the kinds of books I like to read is, of course, community and creating community. But I really think you talk, and I don't even know that there's a question. I just want you to talk a little bit about, there's a supportive community, and that's beautiful. But sometimes our communities turn on us and are unsupportive. And I think that's something you've explored here and you've explored before. So tell us a little bit more about that in the story and why that's important to you personally to talk about.
It's important to me personally because this is an attempt to talk about the village and what the village should look like and who should be a part of the village and who tries to disturb the village, and keeping the village down and from operating properly is better for people in power sometimes, and divide and conquer. So I really wanted readers, when they finish the book, to be able to think about their position in the community and their dedication to their fellow human being. But I also wanted Mr. Jimmy to show, and those people to show, and for the community to show what a struggle it was, because we oftentimes, the part of society that works against the village to keep the village in place doesn't really care about the village, doesn't really care about certain communities. This community lives in something that psychologists now call social death, which is a group of people, a community that exists, and the rest of the world doesn't see their humanity. They see them as something less than human. So they're able to easily turn their eyes away from them. They're easily put them in place and keep them down. I wanted us to get beyond that. I wanted Mr. Jimmy to be able to show that. I wanted Mr. Jimmy, who brings in some other characters. There's a white woman who is a real estate agent who comes into the book, and she's a very, very important character. And I put her in there specifically so we know that the village can look like anything and anybody and help anybody. So it's real, that the whole idea of community and service, again, to your community is what this book is all about.
That's beautiful. I feel, Jeffrey, like you're very thoughtful in what you're putting in your books, and there are these deep messages that you want to convey. And I love asking this question because I love to see what's behind stories when authors are writing stories. But I'm curious, with this particular story, Mr. Jimmy from Around the Way, when the reader closes the back cover, what is that little nugget that you want them to take away into their own lives?
I want them to, there is a line in what I've been saying. There's a line from out of the mission, sorry, my phone. There's a line from the mission statement in the UN, and it says, every human being is born free and equal in dignity and rights. And I would like, when they close that book, to feel motivated to go out and make that statement a reality.
Wow.
From your lips to God's ears, my friend. Yeah, that would be, you know what? I want that too. And I think you all should go. I read this book myself early. I gave it a wonderful quote because I thought it was terrific and important and meaningful. And also, guys, it's just a great story. You're really going to like Mr. Jimmy from Around the Way. So, Jeffrey, thank you as always for coming here. But before you go, we have to ask you the question today. It's one of our favorite questions everybody has to answer. Jeffrey Blount, author of Mr. Jimmy from Around the Way, what is bringing you joy today, sir?
Yeah, I almost answered it ahead of time. What's bringing me joy is when a plan comes together. I just told you why I wrote this book and what I wanted people to take away from it when they close it. So only a couple of days ago, in Library Thing, an advanced reader posted this. Bottom line, when you feel like the world is against you, read this book. In addition to rooting for Mr. Jimmy and his neighborhood, you may find the inspiration to help out someone in your own unique way. I love it when a plan comes together. That makes me happy today.
That is joyful. That is joyful. Well, it's always a joy to have you. You are our joy today. So thank you for joining us. And friends, thank you for joining us here on the 10-Minute Book Talk. Read some good books until we see you next week. All right. See you then.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.